Hi, everybody. It is February 2nd, 2026, and oddly enough, I had made a video, I guess, Martin Luther King Day, and it just magically disappeared off of my phone. I have no idea how it happened, but I'm going to make another attempt. But anyway, this is updates to electronic warfare. And this is psychological, specifically psychological electronic warfare, which I just study now for the fun of it. So I had a short conversation with ChatGPT, and we were talking about something called the OODA loop. That's OODA. It's observe, orient, decide, and act. And it said, it's a decision-making cycle developed by John Boyd. In a psychological electronic warfare context, the idea is that you disrupt or manipulate the enemy's loop, basically making it harder for them to orient or decide effectively. It's a pretty advanced strategy. That's what they say. But the thing is like, I feel like I'm dealing with morons here. Like, I totally understand that in the age of AI and technology, that this is where we're at, and that the whatever war is going to be from here on out is going to be of the mind, because it's all, war is basically just to destroy. War has never built anything. And the thing is like, and this was Chat GPT that told me this. Usually I can't get a lot out of it, but I definitely got some answers. And basically what these people do, I took some screenshots. Let's see, neural hacking, because the systems are digital, they're susceptible to brain hacking, where an enemy could inject false neural patterns. Okay? Latency and complexity, current non-surgical interfaces struggle with signal noise and slow transmission speeds, making complex mind-to-mind conversation difficult outside of controlled laboratory settings. Psychotronic warfare concerns. There is ongoing investigation to the use of DEWs to interfere with human neural activity, potentially jamming the brain itself by mimicking natural brain waves to induce confusion or apathy. So what they're basically doing is they are studying your brain waves, and what they're the techniques that they use is they're trying to come up with some kind of personality type. And jamming is basically where they'll turn the octaves of the person's voice way up. And it'll be like, like in nature where something will start screaming, or it'll get really low, and it'll sound like it makes a definite noise, letting you know that something is wrong. That's basically what it is. But when when you talk to people and their voice goes up an octave, sometimes if you are seasoned with studying people, basically what that means is that they're lying, or their senses are heightened and they're getting excited, whether they're going into a panic or whatever. And that's basically what it is. That's what jamming is. And in my particular case, it's a female's voice that has a ridiculous Southern accent, and she just goes off the rails. And I get angry because it's a big waste of time for me, but it doesn't derail me. It doesn't work like that, because since I found this, there's cognitive electronic warfare. Artificial intelligence is being integrated with these neural streams to help operators process vast amounts of sensor data in real time, allowing them to sense and react to electromagnetic threats faster than humanly possible. Okay? And then all this is electromagnetic warfare. Basically, these are pilots, and this has to do with weaponry, which is not what we're talking about. Current military applications and research. Okay? Silent talk and synthetic speech. Military research, notably DARPA, has focused on decoding the neural signals associated with subvocal or silent speech. By detecting these patterns via EEG-equipped helmets, soldiers could communicate without speaking or using hand signals, maintaining absolute silence in tactical environments. EW jamming immunity. Artificial telepathy provides a communication channel that does not rely on whatever, the screenshot cut off, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying here. This is Odin. This is OE Data Integration Network. And when I had my accident, when I incurred my brain injury, I met a girl that was about to have a baby. And guess what she named that baby? Odin. Okay. Let me see. Enabling rapid screaming or jamming. Okay. Using high power, wide spectrum, or in-band jamming to override enemy communication or sensors, essentially making it impossible for them to function. That doesn't work like that for me. You know, it like gets on my nerves, but I continue to do what I'm supposed to do. That's why I think this, you know, if they think that this is warfare, who do they think they're fighting? I mean, if it's a worthy adversary, they have better stuff to do. You know what I mean? You're not going to get derailed by somebody yelling at you about nonsense. You know, let me see. And here's this, so you guys can kind of see. Okay. The goal of modern electronic warfare is to dominate the electromagnetic spectrum by making the environment unmanageable for the enemy, thereby confusing their sensors and communication systems and preventing them from reacting efficiently. Okay? Generating spectral chaos, having you all over the place. And then they have this little chart here, okay? Hyperarousal, hypoarousal, and then the optimal zone. And this is where they're yelling at you and they're like trying to get a rise out of you to, I don't know, to control your brain waves. So hyperarousal is anger, impulsive, overreaction, panic, anxiety, fight or flight. Okay? This is when they're scaring you, or, you know, they're telling you something's happening to somebody, or somebody's doing something behind your back, or somebody's in your house, or, you know, so on and so forth. But the next chart is going to help you. I know everybody that has to deal with this, just hang in there, okay? Because this is going to help you tremendously, okay? And I have the screenshot for it. Look, ability, this is the entire point, okay? Causing psychological fatigue and burnout, okay? Creating false realities. This is black and white. This is not my observation anymore. Shattering command and control, disrupting communication networks, create a sense of isolation and helplessness, reducing the adversary to blind, deaf, and mute states, which make them ineffective and uncoordinated. This is what they're trying to do, okay? Here's this. Okay, and if you screenshot that, or if you leave me a message and I'll get it to you, just read it every day and remind yourself that this is some stupid stuff. I mean, this is like somebody thought that this was genius. Yeah, if you're an idiot, I guess. You know, if you have things to, you know, better things to worry about and things like that, if you are of any kind of intelligence, you don't have to worry about stuff like this. This is meant for morons. And whoever, you know, and this is a really crass way, you know, a crass example of this. But like, I remember my uncle telling me in Vietnam that there were, and this is obviously, you know, this isn't America, you know, that did this, but these were, you know, overseas, that their soldiers would essentially send these small children out. Like, they were by themselves, they're in peril, they need help. So the American soldiers would essentially go over and pick these children up because they're there to help. They're the good guys. And what they did was they fit these children with an explosive device. And so when, this soldier goes over, picks this child up or takes it over where, with a bunch of other soldiers or whatever to help it, they detonate that bomb and blow everybody up. And the thing is like, if you think about it, you would have to work up a psychological profile on somebody that you didn't want to give them a gun because you don't trust them with a gun, that they might shoot you or they might, accidentally kill themselves and then get a bunch of other people killed. So what you do is you give them a job because they're so dumb they can't wrap their mind around what they're doing. And they're gully to do it, so give them the button. Okay? So if they can't do anything else, the only help that they're going to be to you is when this child runs out, it's simple instructions. When they pick that child up, push the button. And you don't have to go into any other kind of explanation. This is how simple this technology is. And, I'm still actively growing a brain tumor, even though I just had one removed. And posted a picture on TikTok of where I happened to catch my sister, who died a couple of months later of an overdose, with a red laser pointed at her head right there, right where my brain tumor eventually, came to fruition. And the thing is, feed your mind, do the research, because this is a fight of the mind, and we're not up against much. If you think about it, this is ridiculous. Like, the things that are being told to me, I am not that insecure. I am not, like, at a point in my life where I feel like I can't do better, or that, and it's all designed to just totally, like, disable you. And don't let it do that, okay? It's just, it's a battle of the wits, and it's not going to take much, I promise. So just, do what you can, feed your mind, get educated, and God knows what China and Russia are doing, because, there's one of two things going on. Either our government is involved in this, and they're the ones doing this, and they know it's going on, because they're the ones doing it, or it's going on and they're unaware of it, and it's still dangerous, okay? So we're screwed any which way. But I guess, having said that, even more so, we'll hope that it's not our own people doing it to us, but I don't know. Just live your life, okay? So, take it a day at a time, but be educated, okay?